Fear our minds. They keep trying to kill us just cause they fear us. Fear our minds. Fear our minds. They keep trying to kill us just cause they fear us. Fear our minds. Fear our minds. Come on down to these learning streets. Come learn with me. Come on down and you will see. Knowledge is power and wisdom is key. Unlearn and relearn what you need. You might hear me sing. Don't be confused, we have strong minds. Come on down and spend some time. Come learn tonight. Open discussions, we will speak. Can you hear me? Correspond to me. They keep trying to kill us just cause they fear us. Fear our minds. Fear our minds. They keep trying to kill us just cause they fear us. Fear our minds. Fear our minds.
Welcome to Reed's Learning Street. I am My Joy the Artist, and I'm here today with Mr. Gene Testimony Hall, a local businessman and entrepreneur, as well as an author and mentor. So, want to introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Gene Testimony Hall. First of all, I just want to say I'm excited about this opportunity to interview with the great My Joy. She is one of my best mentees. She is phenomenal in everything that she does, so it is an honor and a privilege for me to have this opportunity to sit with her as she builds her skill set. I am an author. I am a local mentor. I am a native of Detroit, Michigan, and it is my goal to advocate for entrepreneurship among junior high and high school students. There are other things that I'm very passionate about, such as out of school time, but I think for the purpose of this interview, if we have the opportunity, I'd like to kind of elaborate a little bit more on, why I advocate for entrepreneurship.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, first let's start with talking business.
Okay.
Okay.
My favorite subject.
Of course, of course. How old were you when you started your first business?
Believe it or not, I was 5 years old. I know that seems kind of weird, but I had my original dream about business at 5 years old. I didn't totally understand what I was seeing and what I was envisioning, but I had planted a seed in the ground. And when I planted that seed in the ground, instead of plants coming up, concrete started growing. And the concrete started turning into structures and buildings and facilities and different things like that. Again, I was only 5 years old, so I didn't have an ideal. But as I got a little older, 10 years old, elementary, I'm out there trying to sell stuff because I started seeing things that, reminded me of that dream when I was 5. So I would say, unofficially, my first business vision started at 5, and then I started trying to start a business at 10, for whatever that looked like for a 10-year-old. And then from there, officially, when I became 16, I started my first business called GGI, Gentlemen Gents Incorporated. It was crazy, but that's what we called it. So I would say unofficially 5, maybe 10, officially 16.
Okay, what did GGI consist of?
Because I grew up in entertainment, we threw parties, we did fashion shows, and we just financed a lot of things around the school that we thought we could make money off of. If someone had additional gym shoes, because top 10s were popular at the time, or Max Julian jackets, or if somebody had additional Gandalf jackets, gold chains, whatever the case may be, we were trying to sell things. So we would buy things, what I didn't know at the time was what they call wholesale, and then we would resell them to people. Now I will be honest, some of these things may have not been legit, which I didn't think about that at the time. But at the time, I was trying to develop my entrepreneurial skills. So if somebody came to me and said, I have 10 jackets that's worth $100 and I'll give them to you for $25 a piece, I knew that was $75 profit per item, so I went for it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I can see the
Yeah.
the process there.
I would never condone anything illegal now. I know better, but I'm just saying back then.
Right. You were younger.
Yeah, I was younger.
Okay.
And I was excited about the opportunity.
Right. So how many businesses do you own now?
Right now, I have 2 businesses.
2.
Yes, technically 3, but 2 that I'm working on right now. I have GTH Global Products and Services, which sells a lot of local items that people don't even realize that I'm responsible for. And then I also have my GTH Graphics and Printing, where I do graphic design, printing. I assist with a little bit of advertising and marketing for people's, different businesses. I develop logos. I have developed taglines. Some of the taglines that people see in Detroit don't realize that I helped develop those taglines, which leads me into the third possible business, which I have not made official yet, but I do consulting. So I take all of my failures, my mistakes, my successes, and my overall wisdom, and I share that with other local entrepreneurs or soon-to-be entrepreneurs like yourself, so that they don't have to make the failures and mistakes that I made.
Okay. It's kind of like a trial and error thing.
Yes.
So what kinds of services do you provide other than consulting?
Well, like I said, of course, the graphic design and printing. That's always going to be a staple for me because that's one of the ways that I really got into the real market. But other than that, I sell t-shirt lines, I do printing, I do, like I said, consulting for design, I sell journals. Anything that can be printed, I can sell it, okay? There are also other things, jewelry, different things like that I dibble and dabble in. So just think about wholesaling or affiliate marketing. Because sometimes I will promote other people's businesses on my websites or my social media sites. And once someone clicks on that link, I get a percentage or a little tidbit of thank you money for them purchasing from that person.
Okay. So I know you do mentoring outside of C2 Pipeline.
Yes.
You do, Mentor Mondays with the
Yes.
students at King?
Well, no, that's 9th grade mentoring on Wednesdays.
On Wednesdays?
Yes.
Okay, see.
Mr. Ville, the vice principal here, has us doing that with the students, just kind of giving back some of our knowledge and experience, and not just in business, but just overall. How to be a better man and an impactful citizen in our communities. So I'm really passionate about that in honor of my mother, because that's how she brought me up, my dad and my mom.
So there's a personal story behind it.
Yeah, it's personal for me.
I mean, usually the best things are.
Yes.
So how do you balance your entrepreneurship with mentoring?
When you love what you're doing, it's almost like a natural balance because I'm passionate about what I do. I love what I do. My wife, Sonia, of 30 plus years, supports everything that I do. So we have a nice, I don't want to use the word balance as much as understanding. I include her in as many things as possible so I can do what I'm passionate about and still spend quality time with my wife and my children, my grandchildren. Then she does the same. She, works in out of school time for an organization called a Michigan After School Partnership. She does the same thing. She includes me, she invites me, she allows me to volunteer and participate. And because we're both passionate about this, and then we did the same thing with our children. Our children are all kind of business oriented, and we did the same thing with them. Just like I do with you guys. We include them in decisions, things that they participate in, things we participate in. We have a family connection. So I'm blessed and fortunate that things that I love to do in business, my family participates in a lot of them with me. So I don't have to choose. So I don't have to do what you said about balance. Now that doesn't mean that me and Ms. Hall don't spend quality time together. But what I'm saying is, I don't have to choose. I don't have to say, oh, I gotta go to this business meeting, or I gotta choose to do this interview with you, and then I gotta choose to be at home. No,
Right.
when I told my wife that you wanted to interview me, she was excited for me. She was like, baby, bam, let's get it.
It's a nice trade-off.
Right, you know what I'm saying? So there is balance, but I don't know, it's hard to answer, because I don't have to choose.
Yeah, you don't have to trade anything. 'Cause you
Right, I don't have to
best of
trade.
both worlds.
Exactly.
Mhm.
My family is in full support.
I definitely understand that. In what ways do you interact with the youth of our community?
Wow. I think you're the better answer of that. You are an example. I'm so excited about the things that you're doing with your singing. You know what? Let me answer it this way. I think the best way as mentors that we can engage with our youth is to support their endeavors. Like you had a vision of something you wanted to do. In some kind of way, a part of that vision included me sitting down, answering her questions. And as you can tell the audience, there was an immediate yes. We had to adjust our schedules, but it was 100% yes. It was never well, you don't know what you're talking about, or no, that's a bad ideal. No, sometimes we have to support your ideals so that you can work it out. And when we support you, it helps you believe in yourself. And believe it or not, you're smart enough to be able to say, you know what? I can tweak this or tweak that. So in essence, I engage with youth by trying my best to empower your voice,
Okay.
to believe in your ideals. Because I should be a multimillionaire. I had the dream and the vision at 5 years old, right? But my parents didn't know how to develop it specifically. And the professionals in the industry used to always tell me, you too young to be thinking like that. So I will never tell you you're too young to think that you can interview somebody, or you can make a hit record, or you can start a business, or like in your case, start a business, sing, interview, and do them all, and still have a healthy lifestyle psychologically, spiritually, and mentally. You know what I'm saying? So you're a great example of what engaging a youth looks like.
Okay, well, thank you. I
Thank you.
appreciate that. Yeah, I don't hear a lot of that lately, so I appreciate it. So I was looking on your website. Yeah, I had a couple questions about some of the services that it said you provided.
Okay.
What exactly is an author advocate?
An author advocate is specifically kind of what it says. I am an author, so I write books. My books are going to be coming out in 2023, so I hope you guys get them.
Definitely. Keep an eye out.
My first book is going to be, what are the ABCs of entrepreneurial mind power? And then I kind of give 26 thought provokers in this book, like an ABC trail of, thought provokers that I wish someone had shared with me when I was younger. But as an author, I write books, I consult with people, I help them, learn from the different processes or the mistakes that I made during the editing process, things like that. The advocacy, on the other hand, is to advocate for people to write their ideals down and not be afraid. Somebody thinks there's a magical touch to being an author. Now, there are touches to being a successful author, I grant you. But you can be an author. Like right now, some of the poetry and everything, that's another thing she does. She writes poetry.
I do a lot.
So right now, with you writing poetry, you could write a book of poems. Now, you may need somebody to edit it. You may need somebody to, put it in proper formatting and stuff like that. That's okay. But you still could be an author of a poetry book. And so I'm advocating that people will, look into authorship more, especially in the African American community. Many of our people are not tapping into their natural talents that they have because they've been brainwashed or tricked into thinking that they're incapable because they're not doing it like a T.D. Jakes. But you don't have to be a T.D. Jakes.
Right.
Okay? You don't have to be a Tyler Perry. Because where there was Tyler Perry, there was Ryan Coogler. You see what I'm saying? Right. Where there was Beyonce, there was Aaliyah. You got so many different styles within the African American community. Right. You know, oh my God. Maya Angelou. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But you like to write poetry. Right. So just because you're not Mother Maya does not mean that you can't be a famous poet. Right. So I advocate for the educational system to change the way that we do education, empowering our students' voice more. You know, giving them more opportunity to speak, giving them more opportunity to share their ideals, understanding that the youth will bring about progress if they have the elders to support them. Hope I answered that correctly, but that's what's on my heart.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. So your website also says you're a family man.
Yes.
I heard you just talking about your children, your wife,
yes.
Your grandchildren.
Yes.
How many children do you have?
I have 4 children.
A lot of kids.
Yes. Yes. And I have 4 grandchildren. Oof. So my children are Jasmine, Christian, Genoa, and Joshua. My grandchildren are Ryan, Sage, Deacon, and Grayson. Yeah, you met Deacon and Grayson. Mm-hmm. And
I think I met Ryan too.
No, you didn't meet Ryan.
That was
Sage. Genesis. Genesis is, and I call her my grandbaby because she is so close to me. But technically she's not my grandchild, but I embrace her like she's my grandchild because she is that close to me. It's when I first met her, it's almost as if though she was part of us. I mean, the girl looks like me, for God's sake. You know, she like, does. Yeah, just like all my, right. So, you know, it's one of those things. So so technically I have 5 grandchildren, you know, because you can't leave Genesis out of the conversation. So, but when you ask technically I have 4 children, mm-hmm. and then I have 4 grandchildren. Mm-hmm. So, but my wife, my children, my mother and my father, my mother is deceased, but I love my family. So I always declare that I am a man of God because I love the Lord Jesus Christ. I am obedient to God. I pray. I'm submissive to the Holy Spirit. I love my family. And then immediately after that, if you notice on my website, man of God, family, bam, entrepreneurship. You know what I'm saying? I'm right there. My slogan is to globally encourage, inspire, and motivate people in faith, love, and entrepreneurship. I believe they go together. I believe it. I know in a school district, I can't talk to people about God unless they ask, but I can talk to people about faith, love, and entrepreneurship. Because there is nothing wrong with you believing in yourself. There is nothing wrong with you loving yourself. And there is nothing wrong with you believing you can be an entrepreneur. Is that fair?
Definitely fair.
And I haven't preached to you one time.
No.
So, I'm excited.
You definitely tell us to be encouraged every day.
Yes.
Every day.
Yes.
Be encouraged.
Yes. I'm going to tell you encouragement. I'm going to let you know that I love you. I'm going to let you know that I love your parents. I'm going to let you know that I love your brothers and sisters. Mm-hmm. Because the same love and admiration that I show my family, because you guys are such great, awesome mentees, I have to show that love and faithfulness and commitment to you. But I also have to make sure you understand that you can be an entrepreneur.
Absolutely. That's what I like about you too, is very loving and supportive.
Yes.
And you make it like that.
Yes.
Yes, you and your staff, of course.
Yes. Miss Megan and Miss Lena, shout out.
Yes, they will be interviewed next, so believe me, you'll meet them. So, will your businesses be your children and grandchildren's legacies?
Yes, but can I add another word to that? Yeah. I will pass them down as a legacy, but I'm also trying to build a dynasty. Mm. And the difference is, I do want to pass down a legacy, but that legacy is mine that I'm passing down to them. But just like I tell you, just like I was given a vision, you have a vision also. Mm. So I want to empower your vision. I do the same thing for my children and grandchildren. They do not have to do what daddy or granddaddy wants them to do. I want to empower and invest financially, socially, spiritually, economically, whatever, into their ideals. Because they have visions as well. Just like you, my joy, have vision. Actually, visions. But they have visions. So I want to pass down what I generate, but I also want to empower them. I like the concept of dynasty so that we all can succeed, because there's enough out there for all of us to eat. There is nothing more attractive than different family members having the same business or a different business, but they're all, entitled to their own demographics or their own group of clients or customers or products and services. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
So I'm excited about that. So yes, legacy is great, but I want to think about dynasty also.
Definitely. It's just something to make everybody grow.
Yes.
Okay. How does your family feel about your accomplishments?
My family believes that I'm the man.
Well, of course.
But here's the deal. For many years, I didn't believe I was the man. So I thank God for my wife and my children, because in one of my books, I call them the original assessment team, because they assessed me. They were like my original board of advisors, believe it or not. Now I got you guys. Like if I'm not hitting it right, my students will let me know. Mr. Hall, we got to do better on that. Let's bring that up. You're the man. So, but they were my original assessment team. And when I was doubting myself and I was allowing childhood and historical influences to negatively impact me, it was my family that said, hey, Dad, hey, hubby, hey, granddaddy, you may have A, B, C, D, but you don't realize how much of an impact you are to people. You don't realize how much you bless people. You don't realize how much you encourage people because you're still focusing on the past. So once I broke away from the past with the assistance of my wife, Sonia, my children, you know what I'm saying? I was able to start being more productive in my present, because they helped me to understand there's a reason why you're not a perfect father, but you're still the father. There's a reason why you don't do like my daughter, you don't do everything I like, Dad, but when I need it done right, I call you. Because my family helped me to understand that I was the man. But I needed to stop trying to be everybody else's version of the man and be the best version of my man. I needed to be me.
That's all I ask. That's all it takes.
That's all it took. And what was so crazy is my mother and father, Tony G and Cynthia, they tried to tell me this my whole entire life. But I was too busy caught up in other people's opinions that I didn't listen to the foundation that was trying to be laid for me by my parents. They gave me the best foundation on how to be successful. But, so back to your question. My family, I love them because they make sure that I feel loved. When I leave out that house, you've never heard anything negative about my character. Because when I leave out that house, my wife makes sure I'm taken care of. Spiritually, psychologically, socially, physically, economically, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
What are we missing? Educationally, it's my wife that helped me go back to school and search degrees out and search other professional developments out. And of course, culturally. Yes, I am an African American / black man, but I'm also a very intelligent, innovative entrepreneur. And it was my family that helped me understand that. So what I didn't make when I was younger, I will make that back and more now that I realize who I am.
Okay.
All right.
So it's all about a eye-opening for you.
Yes.
Realization.
Ding.
Okay, I have 2 more questions for you.
Okay.
What is your favorite book to read?
Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Look.
Hands up.
Look, I know a lot of people are going to say, well, hey, you're an author. You should say your book is the favorite book. And I do give credit to my book. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And for my Christians out there, a lot of them will say you should have said the Bible was the favorite book. But I'm going to tell you why I said Think and Grow Rich. Because I'm an entrepreneur by nature.
Mm-hmm.
And it was Napoleon Hill that helped me to understand that the blueprint for entrepreneurial success is actually in the Bible.
Mm.
But people had taught me from the Bible when I was younger, and I never got it. So it took another businessman to help me understand the blueprint was in the Bible. So I appreciate the book Napoleon Hill wrote, Think and Grow Rich, because it helped me to better understand the Bible. I'm not trying to preach, I'm just saying there are a lot of blueprints in the Bible on how to be successful. And it doesn't matter if you're a Christian, Jew, Jewish community, if you're more, I'm not sure, Muslim, you know, whatever is out there, anything, there are still blueprints within that book. But it was Think and Grow Rich that helped me understand that. Because Think and Grow Rich taught me a couple of things. You have to desire something, chapter 1. Well, I had a desire. I had the dream when I was 5.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have faith in what you dream and desire.
Mm-hmm.
I worked on that, but I didn't have it at first, but I worked on it. But it taught me that because of that faith, you needed God. Then I had to auto-suggest, meaning that if I'm successful, I have to say I'm successful. I have to declare I am a money magnet testimony. That's why my name is Gene Testimony Hall, because I'm a testimony. But I'm also a money magnet testimony. Okay?
Okay.
Then you have to have imagination for how far you want to go. That's why I like working with you as one of my students. And I shouldn't even say student, I should say partner in mentoring. Because of you, I like how you are not afraid of the multiple versions of you.
Nope.
You don't see it as a sign of crazy.
Nope.
You see it as a sign of, if this one don't work, that one will.
Yep.
But I look at you and I say, wow, if I had had that energy when I was her age, I'd be a multimillionaire, potentially a billionaire right now. Okay? So that's why I encourage you. Okay? Then finally, and this is another thing you're good at, and my dad used to tell me all the time, but I didn't listen. Finally, in the 5th chapter of his book, Think and Grow Rich, he talks about the Mastermind Alliance. And when he talks about the Mastermind Alliance, that's something that you're really good at, is building people around you. So, that's my book. And it's not to take away from the Bible, but that's my book.
All right.
All right.
Okay. So my final question for you is, what is your recipe for success?
Recipe for success. I could piggyback on the book, but if I had one thing to say to someone, in my very first book, well, not my first book, not my thought provoker, but my first official book from the book series titled Confessions, 17 Things I Wish I Knew as a Young Entrepreneur. I have a short story in there that talks about what I would say to my younger self. And what I say to you, what I say to anyone watching this video, what I say to anyone in the sound of my voice right now, believe in yourself. The vision is given to the follower, a correction, the leader, not the followers. See, an enemy trying to trip me up there. The vision is given to the leader, not the follower. It doesn't matter who you are, where you're at, what your scenario is, what your talents are. The vision is given to the leader. So if you have a vision, the vision was given to you because you're the one that can carry it out. And I want you to believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. I could be a multi-millionaire right now instead of a thousandaire if I had just believed in myself. True story, and I'm going to close on this unless you have something else.
Go ahead.
In the dream that I told you about at 5 years old, I planted the seed. Instead of the seed producing plants, it started producing concrete buildings. These buildings grew out and they became like a facility with multiple buildings in the surrounding areas. One of the buildings that came out of it was a McDonald's franchise. And out of the McDonald's came a sign that said Illinois and 6 Mile. Now, you may not know this, but I was 5 years old. There was no McDonald's on McNichols and 6 Mile at the time I had the dream. So I'm walking down the street one day, and I tell my dad, hey, Dad, we should put a McDonald's right there. Because my dad had bank, so he could have built a McDonald's right there. My dad looked at me and said, I don't see it, and I don't think they would ever let a black man own a McDonald's franchise. So, I'm mad at my dad because he spoke from what he knew, right?
And it's a different time.
It's a different time. What my dad didn't know is that they were currently in the process, because I was a reader when I was younger. They were currently, now let me clarify, I gave him this vision when we got a little older. I was about 10. They were in the process of developing an enrollment process for increasing the African American franchisees. 5 years or so later, after I told my dad about the McDonald's, and my dad told me it couldn't be built, they built a McDonald's on the corner of 6 Mile and McNichols, exactly where I dreamed it. And it was owned by an African American man. So the reason that I tell people to believe in themselves when they get these visions and these understandings is because I'm a living example of what failure and mistakes can cause if you don't believe in yourself. Many of my failures and mistakes came from me not believing in myself. I should be a multimillionaire right now, possibly a billionaire, but I'm not. And I don't regret my life, but I'm not because I doubted myself. So I'm asking you, whoever's listening, don't doubt yourself. I'm Gene Testimony Hall. Reach out to me. On all of my social medias, I'm at Gene Testimony. I'm all yours if you have any closing remarks.
Actually, I think you just summed it all up.
All right, well, thank you.
Well, thank you.
And I'm excited.
For being with me.
Thank you for watching our videos. Support who supports you, and check out some of our supporters. Definitely like,